Hey, in today's video, we're going to talk to you about all the things that went wrong our first week living out of our RV.
So if you're new to our channel, Two Rebels Off Grid, we are leaving the grind of suburbia and fleeing into the hills of Arizona to live off grid.
So this last week has been a little bit crazy. We had a deadline of getting our house up and listed on the market as of last Friday, which was April 29th. And we've just been going nonstop, getting things packed and decluttered and put into storage. We left some of our furniture in there in the house just to stage it, but everything else had to be packed up. And then we had to figure out, because we're going to be living in our trailer as we make this transition, and then while we're building our house, we're living in our trailer, and we had to figure out what was going to go in the trailer, what could go in storage, it was just crazy. So we got it all figured out. We moved out of the house on April 28th, and we went to an RV campground that's pretty close to our house up in the mountains. Well, we didn't look at the weather forecast and we were basically, so in Denver, those of you who are familiar, Denver's already a mile high. So when it's warm at sea level, it's going to be a lot colder up where we're at. Well, we went up 3,000 feet up near Central City, Colorado is where we were staying. And we didn't realize there was snow on the forecast and that we would need to use our heater. Well, we've never used our RV and we're kind of RV newbies. So we bought it used. And so when they sold it to us, there was no owner's manual for anything. And apparently you can't get paper owner's manuals anymore. You have to get them online, and it's hard to find what you're looking for. But anyway, Doug can tell you what went wrong basically the first couple days. And
yeah, so like she said, we were moving out of the house because we can't be there when they're showing the house for sale. So we jumped in the trailer. We threw everything we could in here. We stuffed it as packed as we could get it. And it was completely discombobulated in here. Everything was just stacked upon everything. And the first night we didn't really think that we needed heat. It wasn't really that cold that first night. And I think we tried to hook up the water, and that's when all of our problems began. It was like a bad Griswold movie or something like that.
Yeah, Doug turned the water on, and I could hear water flowing in a way that didn't sound right. like something, it just didn't sound right. And I know you know what I'm talking about. And then Doug was outside and he's like, there's water pouring out of the trailer from one of the corners. And so we quickly turned the water off and started hunting around to try to figure out what was wrong.
Yeah, and without having any heat and no toilet, that we didn't want to use the toilet because we planned on putting a compost toilet in. But yeah, guys, this video is going to be upon our woes over the last week and how we've managed to deal with it all, and just a very different video for you guys. You guys can laugh at our failures and our situation in general.
Yeah, it was pretty comical. We actually ended up having 3 leaks.
Yeah, we're gonna show you all this stuff, so we don't have to talk about it. We're just gonna show you in this video. So stick around, watch to the end, and you can hear Carrie yelling out some F-bombs, okay?
We're on OMG Road. You can see why. Yeah, we've been working literally for like 2 days solid. Actually, Doug's been doing a good portion of the work. I've helped a little bit, but we're taking a break and we're going to go into Central City and Blackhawk, which are they're kind of gambling towns here in Colorado. But we're just going to go and walk around and have a good meal because we haven't really eaten anything decent for the last 3 or 4 days. And it's a beautiful day today, but this is the view we've got driving into town. It's really pretty. don't cut the edge so tight, please, Doug.
The trees would stop or roll.
Really? That's what you count on?
It's where you don't see the trees, where you gotta worry about it.
Oh God, I just need to get off this, please. We just had our first night in the trailer, and we had a leak when we plugged the water in, and we're not really sure what that's from, but it was pretty bad. So that's one of the things that we're going to be doing today, is figuring out where the leak's coming from and getting it fixed. We think that the dealer that we bought the RV from might not have winterized it, but what we're going to do today, since the water is shut off and we're needing to install this Nature's Head self-contained composting toilet, because our RV only came with a 5-gallon black water tank, and that's just not gonna last us very long when we're out like boondocking and stuff. So we decided to go with this composting toilet. So Doug is going to be removing the factory toilet that came with the RV today, and then we're going to plug the line that goes into the black water tank with one of these, I don't know what they're officially called, but they're like sewer plugs. And we were at the hardware store the other day, and we had no idea what size the tube was, so we guessed it's either a 4-inch or a 3-inch, and hopefully one of those works. So here we are in our tiny little RV bathroom, and here's the RV factory installed toilet. So there's 3 things that we're going to start with. The first thing we're starting with is disconnecting right back here. That's where the water comes in to flush the toilet when you're going to use it. So that's going to have to get disconnected. And then, just like a home toilet, there's 2 bolts. That's what we're going to start with, and we're going to start by getting this out of here. So we're going to be making her nice.
So we decided to relocate the toilet into the kitchen. It's going to be a trend people will be catching on, you know. You can eat and make business. The toilet over needs to go to the bathroom.
That's quite the toilet, isn't it?
So the panel came off pretty easily, and see all this tape right here? Well, we had an incident yesterday with our 15, almost 16-year-old cat. She somehow climbed up underneath that sink and got into that hole. I didn't think she would. I saw her checking it out earlier in the day yesterday, and it's only about 2.5 inches deep. And I'm like, there's no way she's going to go down there. Well, she did. So I reached up underneath and I taped the hole up so she can't get in there anymore. And that's probably just a temporary fix. But cats and RVs, they will explore every crack and crevice and get into places that you never would have expected them to be able to get into. FYI. So this one looks like maybe it might be an easy fix compared to the kitchen. I don't know.
The other one had the thread wrapped around here to thread upward into it.
The connector.
And you can't find a pipe that has the connector where the threads are facing up. So that's the big problem we've been having. But it looks like we might get lucky. And this already had the attachments on it. Because what happened is if you don't use an air compressor to blow out your pipes, which they didn't do, the water will sit right here, right? And then when your trailer gets cold with no heat running, this expands, and it's what it busted the pipes. They just cracked and clean.
Yeah,
and that's why we have busted pipes.
Yeah, so we have a kitchen sink, this bathroom sink, which is kind of built into the shower to save space. And then of course we have the shower tub combo, but the shower tub drain pipe is just a straight pipe and it just goes straight down into the tank. So luckily that one didn't crack, so we only had to do 2.
So let's get some water and see if it leaks.
Okay, we're testing it for leaks.
Well, the good thing about this trailer is they gave us a bidet, but it's up a little high for carry. It's good for me though. Yeah, I don't see any leaks.
That's not really a bidet, that's really the tap for the bathroom sink, but it's kind of weird. I guess you can adjust it how you want it. So that's good. That was an easy fix. And the cool thing about this one is if it does start leaking again for whatever reason, we're going to see it dripping because that panel just covers the front. It doesn't cover underneath, so it's not like it's going to be dripping anywhere except into the shower, which is good.
Yeah, I mean, this panel's actually unnecessary. It's just...
Yeah, it's more for looks, I think.
It is for looks. It's to make it look like you're living in a mansion.
This is hardly hardly a mansion.
A mansion that looked like this.
No, I have not.
This is just clear Loctite silicone. The same stuff that we used for the nature's hut.
Around it, but it's just kind of... So we realized that in order to fix the water leak, we were going to have to dig around a little bit. So we pulled the drawer out where all the water stuff is, because we knew it was leaking from somewhere in here. And Doug kindly crawled in there with his head, and I went out and turned the water on quickly and then turned it right back off, and he could easily see where it was coming from. So we think when they winterized this trailer that they tried to unscrew this water filter, and this housing that it connects to was broken, so the water was spewing out. So somehow when they went to unscrew this, it broke this. So this, you can see where it's broken right there. It just snapped it, and so water was coming out, and that's where our water leak was. So we're gonna have to go to an RV store and try to find one of these guys and get that fixed, and then we'll get our water capped off where the toilet used to be, and then we should be able to turn the water on, and hopefully we'll have water that works correctly. Say hi, Doug.
Hey.
So we're heading down the mountain because we're staying up at about 8,900 feet and it's actually snowing up there. So, but we're heading back down into the Denver area. It's really only about a half-hour drive, but it's about a 3,000 foot elevation difference, and so the weather up there is cold and snowing, and the sun is coming out down here. So we're heading down. We're going to go to the RV store and try to find that part, and then try to find a cap for the water that would go into the toilet normally, and then we're going to run a few errands. We discovered there's a few things that we're missing, like a trash can for the RV and just a few other things. So hopefully we can find that part. So the other thing we ended up doing was just buying a new filter and a new filter, what do you call that, housing?
Yep.
Because we went to an RV store to buy these parts and they didn't carry the brand that we originally had, but we figured out a way to kind of modify it and picked up some parts at the hardware store to kind of make it work. So Doug's gonna fold himself back into this tiny little cabinet and get it all hooked up, and then we should be good for water.
not too far.
The other thing we're going to want to do is cap the water, because when we turn the water on, that's going to come gushing out if we don't cap that. So. And we're back with some wood from the hardware store. We decided we were originally going to buy like a 1 inch thick and then like, I don't know, like 14 inches wide board. But then we started thinking about how we would have to buy the whole board, and we didn't want to do that. So we went to the scrap section and we just got some 2x, and we got cedar. They're treated, which doesn't really matter, but it is in a bathroom where it does get wet. So we went ahead and we're just doing a frame, and this elevates the toilet off the floor 1 inch so that it clears that wing nut from the original RV toilet. So we're going to be bolting the toilet to these 2x and then screwing the 2x into the floor. And then there'll be one that goes across the front too that Doug's cutting right now. So we'll be back. Here we are after all 3 pieces of wood have been screwed into the floor, and then he screwed the brackets. These brackets right here are what the Nature's Head toilet connects to, and they're just little screws with handles on them, and you unscrew it when you're going to dump the back end of the toilet, which is the solid part, the poop part. So you do have to be able to remove it and put it, so this keeps it clear of this, gives it a level surface obviously, and attaches it to the trailer so it doesn't slide around when we're driving. And I think we already showed you this, but we got the water capped off, and we're just about done now. We just need to install the actual toilet and screw in a few of the components, and we should be good. So we'll be back.
It's a thinker. Yeah, so we just put the brackets on. We installed this little wheelie bobber here. This is perfect for somebody that's 6'5". Yep, it's installed. Finally, we can go to the bathroom without using the latrine down the street.
Yeah, nicely done. That was actually really easy, considering.
Well, that's one of the 2 of the things done today.
Yeah, we also finally figured out how to get the heater to turn on. That was pretty cool because it was down to 53 degrees in here.
Yeah, it's dropping. It's 37 outside.
Yeah, so that's good. So we're now warm, and we now have a place to use the bathroom.
It's actually not that sticky.
Day 2 on the toilet install. So now we're tackling the electrical. We do have to connect a constant 12-volt power source to the toilet, which runs the fan that vents the toilet. We were thinking we might be able to get away with not doing that, but on further reading, we realized that that's part of helping the solids compost correctly. So it's not optional. So Doug is somewhat handy when it comes to electrical. And we're working with limited supplies. So what he's doing right now, he's cut a hole in the wall and he's going to connect to the electrical outlet that's in the bathroom. And we didn't have anything long and skinny, so we took one of our marshmallow roasting sticks and we unraveled it, and he's going to use that to feed the wire through the wall to the toilet where it plugs in. You can see
this is a technique the historical settlers that came out west did to attach their feed their electrical things through their caravan wagon.
Yeah, so we had no tape. We didn't have any duct tape because it didn't get packed. So we're just using some sticky stuff that can be used to mount things to connect the wire to the guide. So our marshmallow roasting stick trick worked. So Doug taped it to the end of...
Look, we still got the cord. That's what we wanted.
So that's good. So we were able to cut a little hole and pull it through. Kind of a jerry-rig system, but it worked.
All right, so we should probably tape this to the wall so it doesn't move.
Yeah.
Oh, don't do this, guys.
And neither one of us are electricians, but
We have light.
that's good. So we just drilled a 2-inch hole. We found this 2-inch little exterior vent for the compost toilet pipe, I guess is what you'd call it. And Doug's gonna go out with some silicone. Whoops, hold on. And get this siliconed in. We think it's small enough, we don't need to put screen on it, that no critters can really get in through the vent. So here's what the hole looks like from the outside. It's kind of interesting to see what these RVs are made of. This is styrofoam between two very thin pieces of, I don't know what that is, but it's kind of interesting. So Doug's gonna go ahead and, so we bought some Loctite clear silicone waterproof sealant, and we're gonna use that. Doug's gonna use that around the edge of the little vent. And we're gonna put that in there.
Exciting TV here.
This is very exciting. Oh, it looks so nice. We got that little vent at Lowe's. It was like, what, $1.50 or something? Anyhow, that's pretty nondescript. You can see how small it is in comparison to the rest of the trailer. So we're back on the inside of the trailer right behind the toilet, and this is the flange that goes on the inside that connects the pipe to the toilet. And we've just got Doug pre-drilled some holes into the flange because we just wanted it to be a little bit more secure than just being, siliconed in. We're siliconing it in too, but we also did a couple of little screws. Gonna do a little bit more of that Loctite clear silicone just to kind of seal it. But this is how they make RVs, and especially lighter RVs like the one we bought, because we have an FJ Cruiser that we're towing it with. We had to buy a lighter weight RV. I'm sure they build more solid ones, but our car can't tow that much. So. It's almost like it was factory installed. It's got way more love in it, and that's really what matters. All right, so there's the flange installed, and here's the toilet. So Doug actually cut the pipe shorter just so we didn't have a bunch of extra pipe in the back. So that just kind of screws, it doesn't screw, it just pushes into the wall on that side, and then this side pushes into the toilet, because you do have to take your toilet out sometimes to dump it. All right, so Doug used a drill bit and just bored out that hole a little bit. So then that just plugs into the toilet, and that's what runs the fan that goes out the vent that Doug just installed. And all we need now is just the 12-volt adapter that we're gonna connect to that, and then that will plug into our wall outlet. Here is another little modification that we're working on today. It is going to be access for the cat box. So we don't have a lot of space in here, but we do have in the back, this trailer is called a bunkhouse. So it's got these 2 bunk beds, and we don't need them for anything, but as you can see, we're totally using them for storage. But the cool thing is we've got this cabinet on the very bottom, and there's actually another door that goes there. Sorry, I'm so tired. Anyway, there's another door. Doug took it off, and because what we were going to do is just prop it open, and so the cat could go in and out. I don't know if you can see in there, but her litter box is in there, and it's kind of like nice because it's away from the main living area, and so we can't really smell it. But anyway, we decided to cut into the door that looks just like this one. Doug just traced a circle, and he's outside with the jigsaw cutting the hole right now. And we're actually going to line the hole with this foam kind of tubing, flexible tubing that we found at Home Depot today. So here we are on take 2. We cut a little bit longer piece and made it fit a little bit better. And Doug's taken the sticky back stuff off and sticking it permanently to the cabinet.
You could do this for a dog door too.
You could.
Yeah, extra size, extra big size. And the other side has tape too.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was really bad on this side.
Yeah.
Good thing that's the inside. That cat only has to deal with looking at that.
I think she'll be okay with it.
Watch. This is how trailers are built. If you put something like this, you know dang well the microwave door won't open now, or the or you won't be able to open your oven door anymore because you installed something simple like this.
Yeah, like it sticks out like a half an inch more, and so now
inch, and now none of your doors
nothing
will
works.
open.
Right. All right. That doesn't look too trashy.
All right.
Not bad.
Put
So we're
the
gonna.
door back on.
Doug's gonna put the door back on, and we'll see what this looks like in just a sec. Here is the cabinet door reinstalled, and here's what it looks like. It's actually not too bad, I don't think. Our cat should easily fit through there, and actually, I think our little Chihuahua might not fit through there, which is kind of the goal, because we don't want her digging for snacks in the cat box. So, the cat box is in there, so pretty cool. We'll have to introduce the cat to it and make sure she'll go through. Okay, you go in there. And that's perfect. Looks like she's already figured it out. Oh, kitty. This is Boo. She's 15. She's doing pretty good with the sudden changes to her living arrangements. Oh.
This is why they call it OMG, because it's beautiful. Are you videotaping?
Yes, just don't cut it so fucking close to the corner. I don't know why you think that's funny. This is awful. This is like this is hell for me. This is my personal hell.